harder when you
I'll do the Ricky Bobby thing, or like
Please do. Good morning, folks. Live is such an exciting beast.
Oh,
you
yeah.
never know. Hello, and welcome back to Dusty Tracks BC. We're in the Kiwanis Performing Arts Centre, and Kurtis, an artist and arts coordinator in town, has agreed to sit down with us.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking time. You seem like you are always running in 6 directions, organizing 10 different things.
Yeah, kind of.
So thank you for taking time today.
Cool.
Will you kind of walk me through the different events you coordinate often?
Through Kiwanis Performing Arts Centre, like our regular live music series, and kind of working with other groups, doing their tech and things like that in our theater. So we do, film, live theater stuff, live music, kind of a whole bunch of different stuff, whatever we can get in there.
It was an exciting beep, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the elevator.
That's cool. What do you like about coordinating these different events and working with them?
That's a tough one. I enjoy the tech portion of it. I like kind of getting to see music, or meeting people in the industry and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all around pretty fun. It gets exhausting. Like the setup and tear down is, you're like 10 hours a day before, 12 hours, and then you're 12 hours after. You're staying late on the show days, but for like a 3-hour event. But it's fun. I like it. I kind of like being manic and running around like a crazy person. So.
Yeah, when we met on Saturday and we saw you at the Fusion Festival at the Village, it was fascinating watching you like just rip around from person to person, and like we could see you coordinating so many different things, and like coming from like an arts background, both Mike and I is like we know that manic. That man is running the show. Like that's
it's fun. Yeah, yeah, it's fun. Trying to give everyone still give everyone a little bit of attention, or make sure everyone's taken care of was good, but. And that style of event, because there was so many moving parts, like we had the market and different style of performers, and then because there's cultural performers, there's occasionally like a bit of a language barrier or communication breakdown, like trying to just keep the ball rolling, and especially when you have like 2-minute performances and everything's got to be like right on time. So with that one, out of I think we had 20 performers. There's only 2 that 20 performances, I guess. Each of the groups, some had more or less, but I think there's only 2 that either couldn't make it or had to shuffle their times. So it wasn't too bad, all things considering, as far as time-wise. So, yeah.
Well done. Will you kind of walk me through what the Fusion Fest was?
I don't know which year it is. It'd be the 8th year. That was the 2nd year that I've helped coordinate that or organize that, and it's to celebrate Canadian Multiculturalism Day. So we get funding through Heritage Canada. In previous years, we've gotten funding through NDIT and some local organizations and things like that. But it's kind of moved from space to space throughout the years. It was hosted at KPAC for quite a few years while I was here. So I sort of assisted them just in the tech portion, and they would sort of coordinate the performers. We would sort of have it inside and outside here, close down the street. I believe they did it at a public library for a few years. Last year we did it at the NAR Park, like right in front of the art gallery.
The NAR Park.
The NAR Park, yeah. This year we were actually, it was a good venue because we had the grain elevator, and it has like bay doors, so we sort of did like a stage there, and then we did a large stage at the base. We still had a bit of a grassy area. We kind of outgrew that space already though. Last year was the first year, and it was, well, this year now they have construction on both sides of that park, so parking was an issue, and they just didn't really have any of the infrastructure to do an event like that. There's kind of one in and one out. There was no real parking once you put the market and stuff like that in there, and then we had to bring in like a temporary stage, like this huge aluminum and wood stage thing, and then a big tent and all that stuff. So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of a pain. Whereas at Pioneer Village this year, it was nice. We were able to set up the day before and get a lot of the vendors in there early. They have a nice road that goes through. It worked out really well. So yeah, I was happy with it. Last year we lost about $3,000 or $4,000 worth of tents because we had a big storm roll in right as we were packing up. Everyone was packed up except for like our volunteers, and this huge gust of wind came and just started like, we had enough ballasting on the tents, but it just started collapsing the tents.
Oh my God.
So I had to pull out the one tent started, the tarp started going off of it, and so we had to like cut it with a knife and cut the legs off of it. I had a grinder in my truck and just cut the legs off, and the company that did our garbage disposal brought another dumpster so we could separate all the metal and everything. Oh, it was just a nightmare. So I kind of had PTSD this year from that event, and this year we got like crazy rain at like 4:30, but everyone was gone. So
That explains why you were all watching the skies so carefully. I kind of noticed because like I knew like it was supposed to rain Saturday afternoon and everyone was outside, and I was like, wonder how this is gonna go.
yeah, it kept
And
saying
you were
like
like-
thunder. It kept saying thunder and rain, and I'm just like, okay, how fast can we move everything?
I was impressed. As soon as the raindrops hit, everything had already been like it was
Yeah,
gone by
it
the
was a-
time the rain hit. I think.
Yeah, I think it was about like 4:15. Last year our event ended at 4, but our farmers market and a lot of the people had already packed up. Our final performer, she kind of cut her set like 3:59 because she was looking at the sky, and so everyone was like, oh my God, and starts just scrambling. She went into the art gallery to go check out the gift shop, and she ended up staying in there for about like 40 minutes watching us like scramble, and a tent almost hit her car, and they were big tents too, so
Oh my God.
it was, yeah, I was just like,
So this year was a rounding success.
oh, it was, yeah, absolutely. It was, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
no, it was good. And yeah, last year I thought I could do sound at the same time as organizing the event, and
Wow.
so I'd hired somebody out this year to do it, so it was nice.
Yeah, that was ambitious.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I don't know why I do that. Usually here because our funding, like we have fairly minimal funding, sort of throughout the year for our live music programming. So generally, I try to do as many jobs as I can, just to sort of save on costs, and then we can cover our performer fees. So there's our last, well, not our last show, but one of our recent shows in June was doing sound, photos, bartending, and then I had somebody doing the door. So it's nice because I can run the sound from the iPad, then I can bartend, and then when nobody's at the bar, I'd run up and take some photos, then run back.
That's like it's kind of like a 5-person job a lot of the time. What you did.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a super, like some of them, if I know I'm gonna have more than 100 people, 50 is about my threshold of like manageable to do a few jobs.
That is impressive.
And it's generally the same crowd and stuff, so people are usually pretty understanding. Like, I'll just put like a sign like, hey, I'm busy right now.
Kurtis is off photo taking.
Yeah. I could probably do an honor system, just like set a camera up there or something.
Honestly, with this community, it seems like you could.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So you've been working with KPAC for about 4 years, but before that, like you've always been involved in the art scene here
Yeah.
and in setting up events. How did you get into the art scene here? Tell me about that.
It was a pretty natural progression. Playing in bands when we were younger. Obviously, you can't play in bars, so we would always, rent halls and set up our own shows and have our parents sell merch for us. And
And that was before you were like 19 then.
yeah,
Wow.
when we were younger. So we had a lot of really cool spots that we would set up shows. Actually, Sedate Hall, that's straight near Pioneer Village. One of the hotel lounges. There's a few. There's another seniors hall. Most of the places were pretty good about renting to us. And we always say, like, now we're like, why aren't kids setting up their own shows now? It's, you'd have 4 bands playing, and it kind of sounded like not very good, but it was a lot of fun. Try and make money on tickets for like $5 a ticket or something like that. Making our own merch. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty natural progression. And then the photography thing sort of came from that too. Like, got a camera when I was younger, took some pictures of my friends, playing music, and then yeah, just kind of went from there.
And is there a way you can describe kind of like what it's like playing art, or like playing music, making art, photos in Dawson Creek as an adult? Like, is there a lot of appetite for it? Is there a lot of people working?
There is. That's a tough one. I would say.
It's a big question.
Yeah, there's. Can you say it again? I just need to like. I'm trying to process it.
Yeah, I know. It's such a big question. I was like trying to parcel it down. But like, how do you find the art scene as an adult compares to when you're a kid setting up shows with your friends?
I would say it's challenging but rewarding, if in a way. I don't know. There's making the time for it is obviously the tough thing, but you know, with the group that I play with right now, like we're all dads, or the majority of us are. All work full time, and you know, some of us have a couple jobs, but we always seem to make time for it, and it's fun. Yeah, it's a great way to pass the time. I feel like there's no reason to leave Dawson Creek because I kind of have all the things that I would need here. Like, you know, we have a great, like a tight knit music scene. You know, and it's like across genres. There's no, there seems to be no like animosity towards like, these are the metalheads and those guys play electronic music and those guys are like the punk bands. It's sort of like everyone's just a mash. And you'll see guys that are like, they're playing in a country band and maybe they're also playing in a metal band. So there's a lot of overlap in the art scene, which is really neat. And I like that. You know, there's the same person that was hosting an art class or something like that. They're also doing another thing. And so anyone kind of within the art scene always kind of has their hands in a few, it seems like the majority have their hands in a few pots, which is really nice. Yeah, and I feel like it's being in a small town too, as an adult, like being in the arts is really busy, especially with work, but it takes like 2 minutes to drive anywhere here. So you can like do something till 5 and then you're like, oh my God, I have something at 5:15, and you can leave at like 5:12 and make it.
And you're early.
Yeah, and you're early. You're like, jeez, where are you guys?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Are you in a bunch of different styles of bands, or like what kind of music do you find yourself playing more?
Just one right now. We play like instrumental psych rock. I don't even know what you'd call it. We're like I don't know if we're a jam band. We just did it for fun, and then we ended up having a bunch of songs made up. Yeah, it's a weird thing to try and pitch to like bars and places in town. You're like, people want the safe bet. They're like, oh, do you do covers? We're like, no. I don't really know what to call it.
Not sure what we do, but it's good.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll probably want to dance. Yeah, we played Peace Valley Folk Fest last year, actually.
Oh, cool.
On the midnight, so we had fire dancers and stuff.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
We're not supposed to swear. I almost got away with it.
Beep. I was going to ask that at the start because
You've nailed it.
I'm better now with kids. I don't swear.
Gosh, that one is hard.
I try not to. Yeah, I just pretend like the kids are around.
You're nailing it.
Yeah.
That's cool though. You're talking about the style of music that your band plays.
Oh yeah.
That sounds
yeah,
really
it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Do you like it like that? Do you like the...
Oh yeah, yeah, it's super fun. We played with people doing covers and stuff like that, and it's like really your end goal, like it's just for fun, and like we don't want to be like the Weekend Warriors who are playing every weekend, like try and make $1,000 between 6 people for like an insane amount of work and practice and all that stuff. We just like writing our own music, so and it's fun. Try and do a couple shows a year and just have fun with it. It feels a little bit more rewarding too because it feels substantial. Like it's like a thing. Mm-hmm. We made it together.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not that playing covers is bad. That's still really fun too. But
yeah, there's value in both. But I definitely I hear how much you like the style that you do, which is great.
Well, and you can mess up your own songs and nobody knows, unless they're like a super fan or something weird. Like
And then honestly, it's good. Then you know you have a super fan.
Yeah, and they're like, "Whoa, you totally winged that part." And you're like, "Yeah."
Funny you should notice.
Yeah. If you're playing like a Bon Jovi song or something, people know like those songs, like
Yeah.
down to the wire.
And probably have a strong opinion about it too.
Yeah.
Which is never super helpful.
No, not really. You got to do like a really drastically different cover or something like that. So, yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah, it's so cool to hear how many different pieces of the art scene you're involved in.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, with people always involved in the different pies.
Yeah, and I wasn't working in the arts for quite a few years. I was doing like construction and stuff, and then it just sort of kind of like kept pulling me back in, to the point that I could make substantial living out of it, and felt a little bit more rewarding than doing like construction or like super hard physical labor work. I have a fairly demanding work schedule, but I also have a very flexible work schedule at the same time. It's like it's a bit odd. Like going around Fusion Festival and stuff like that, it's like it was like a solid week of work, but then planning it's like a couple months, and then it's done and you get to kind of relax a bit. I don't know.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah, enjoy the show. Yeah, no, it was fun. I actually got to enjoy it a little bit this year, which was nice.
Is that typical?
No, usually not. I don't even remember what happens. It's like a car crash. It's like slow motion and fast all at the same time.
Can't look away.
Yeah. I usually have like a pounding headache after.
Oh man.
So no, it was good. It was good this year.
No pounding headache?
No. Do you have to cover this? Not sponsored.
Yeah. Thank you. Important to clarify. Yeah, we're not sponsored by Kurtis's coffee.
Yeah. Generic coffee.
Generic coffee. Absolutely. That's pretty much all we have time for today. But is there anything you want, outside of Dawson Creek, is there anything you'd want people to know about the art scene in Dawson Creek?
It's good. Yeah. I think the difficulty, with our art scene or people like within it is they're spending so much time on the thing that they're doing. It's getting it out there. Like that's like getting the word out. Like I even have difficulty like doing any of the social media stuff. And so trying to delegate those tasks to get the word out, because we have some incredible artists here, like in every medium. And unless you're really like within that community, because I've met people that have lived here like 2 years and they're like, I didn't know there was all these cool bands that played here. I didn't know there was all these cool art shows. I didn't know there's all these cool things. Like, I still have a few minutes, I guess. I'm not in a super rush, but yeah, like we used to do like little DIY shows and stuff like that. My sister's skate shop.
Your sister has a skate shop?
Yeah, just downtown. Kind of skate clothing shop. Her old shop we built.
What's it called?
Rocksteady. Yeah.
Oh, we have been
I could show you her secret vintage stuff upstairs if she's around. She's got like a really sweet, yeah, it's her secret space. Her old space was like a couple spaces down, and for a bit I was like, oh, I set up an art gallery / like music space. We like moved this wall and it would block the skate shop off, and I'd get like special event permits, and the cops always came in because they thought we were doing them like not legit, and I'd always be like, here's the permit. They're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I did that for a couple of years, and I had people like coming in, they're like, I just seen this thing, and it was like, they thought it was like a speakeasy, and like they'd like roll in because we'd have the windows covered. So we'd always get like insane. I actually almost got better turnout than, we've been getting better turnout here, but I think it's because people thought that they weren't supposed to be there. We did an art show in our old jam space when the Alaska, and it was right after the Alaska burnt down. And there was like 200 people in there, no power or anything because the power was cut off to the building. I feel like everyone came just to like look at the rubble of the Alaska. But it was neat. Yeah, we ran a generator and had like a guy playing piano and like ran Christmas lights through for the art show. There's like, people do tons of cool stuff here. It's sort of like, kind of have to meet people. There's a lot of cool little, barn shows and secret parties that are super fun, and everyone's so like welcoming, and I always felt too, like, we're starting to get really, feels like the Fort St. John and Dawson Creek community are like getting a little more intertwined as well.
Oh, that's good.
Because it used to feel like growing up was like sort of like a Shelbyville, Springfield kind of thing. It was like really odd, and now like people from Fort St. John will come to our shows. They do their own like cool little.
Yeah, we met with Bruised Orange Productions last summer.
Oh yeah, Naomi and Ryan.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, they're great. There's like, it's nice. We had Fort St. John bands coming here, Dawson bands going there. It's really cool. I like it. There's, I don't know, come up to Dawson Creek. It's pretty cool.
We've honestly been so impressed. Like, you never know. We knew very little about Dawson Creek before starting the show. Mm-hmm. And so just like the gems that we have found, and just like I was saying earlier, the amount of people that we've just met and they're like, oh yeah, I've made a feature film. Like, that is so rare in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Like, I work in the film industry, and to like meet someone that's like, yeah, I made my own feature film is like incredibly rare. And
well,
like the artists and the musicians, like,
they're able to get the support too from the community. Like, if you were to do a feature film in Vancouver, there's a lot more permits, and just getting backing from people would be so hard. Whereas here, you'd be like, hey, I'm making a movie, and people are like, cool, we'll sponsor that.
it's so cool.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's awesome, and it feels like the more people that are interested in like learning about the community, like more people are just like, I'm sure if you get stuck around, people will be like, you got to check out this cool. Like, everyone wants to show their little cool thing that they have. Yeah, it's good. There's not enough time for all of it, really.
Honestly, no. Like, we're at the point now where we're starting to have to like make some tough choices. We've only got a couple more days here, and like haven't spent much time wandering downtown. We haven't like actually. We're meeting with the folks of the art gallery, but we haven't gotten to go check it out yet. And like, there's so.
Have you been in there?
We have, but last year. We haven't seen the most recent exhibit.
Yeah, I think was it the 5th today?
Today's 5th. I think there's an exhibit going to the 7th.
I think it was for Indigenous History Month.
Yeah.
So it was their artist in residence, Nathan Scott.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of local Indigenous artists. It's a really, really cool exhibit.
Oh,
Some of them were
so
from
good.
Fort Nelson, so they had to kind of shorten the show because it was supposed to be beginning of June. I think it ended up being like, the opening was like the 22nd or something.
Mm.
So, because, Fort Nelson was on fire. So they couldn't pick up their art to bring it here. So. Yeah, so, cool.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today, in
thank
between all of your different shows and things you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
we really appreciate your time. And
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with the next couple shows. And
Yeah, taking the bit of the summer off.
glad to hear it.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
It's exciting.
Doing some work catch up and stuff, but so I was just like, I'm off, leave me alone. I'm working on stuff.
Phone on silent?
Yeah.
Do not bother him for the summer.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, folks.